Hi guys, how are you doing? This is from TechCentury and this is my review of the Sony Xperia Sola, a mid-range Android smartphone. So, taking a look at Android, unfortunately we see here in a second that this is still stuck on Android 2.3.7, which is also known as Gingerbread. Unfortunately, because this is supposed to already have an update to Android 4.0.4 Ice Cream Sandwich available through the companion app, which is available for Windows. We tried this and we actually connected it to the laptop, and unfortunately there was still no update available, even though it should already be available for a long time. So as I said, we are still stuck on this. If we're taking a look at the price of this phone, we purchased this unlocked for 237 euros from Amazon Germany. Taking another look at the design, we see that this is kind of edgy and sharp edge design, when we see that the glass from the screen is kind of put on top of the rest of the device. We also have a light right here which kind of illuminates the Xperia, and then we also see that we have on the right side a dedicated camera button right here that we will see in action in a second, as well as volume up and down, and then the micro USB port right here. Then also on top we see that we have the headphone jack, and on the left side we have the power on and off switch, which at least for me as right-handed person is kind of in a weird spot. I would have preferred to have it here where actually the USB port is located. Besides that, now we'll take a look at this camera button right here. So I have to push it down like all the way, and then it actually starts the camera application, and then you can focus by just pressing it down a little bit and then actually shoot the photo by pressing it down even more. Not the best tactile key that I've ever felt. Like, the feedback pretty much sucks, to be honest, but we see right here that the 5 megapixel camera actually makes some decent photos. And also from the keyboard I actually see how dirty the keyboard is, which isn't really what I wanted to show you guys, but still for a 5 megapixel shooter it's definitely a good camera and nothing to be ashamed of. Besides that, pretty much the biggest issue I have with this phone is the 3.7 inch screen. Now, while I already mentioned that the resolution and PPI are fairly high, pretty much the biggest issue is actually how narrow this is. So due to the fact this is a 16:9 screen, we actually see that if we start like a Google search, we see that the keyboard is really shrunken down. I mean, it's pretty hard to hit even, and so it's just not the best aspect ratio for such a small screen. So 3.7 inch isn't really the best to go for, at least in my estimation. This was really an issue for us, and not actually only for me but also for my girlfriend, who actually has smaller fingers and a smaller hand, but still this was really hard to find the right things to type on. And so by far the screen, while having a good resolution and a good clarity and also sharpness, as you see right there, still just not wide enough. And other phones, for example, like the HTC Desire X, that I'll show you in a second, that actually have like a 4-inch screen on pretty much the same kind of like dimensions. I mean, they're pretty much the same, just a little bit wider right here, but the height is pretty much the same. It's really a shame that they only fit a 3.7 inch screen on there, because you see right here that if you make like a Google search, then actually this is a lot better and a bigger keyboard overall. So yes, you can probably get custom keyboards, but it doesn't change anything about the fact that the display is really narrow, and definitely also one of the other reasons to complain about the Xperia Sola, and one of the reasons why I wouldn't really recommend it. On the back you also see that the camera sticks out, which is something that I'm really not a fan of. I mean, this also on other phones like the Galaxy S3 for example, but just something that I really dislike, because always when you put it on the table it's always on this camera, and so not really too well done. One of the major gripes we also have with the Xperia Sola is actually that this had major issues with Wi-Fi. So it didn't want to connect to the Wi-Fi network. At the moment it actually works, but most of the time it didn't work, and this was something that we tried with different routers. We tried a Speedlink that we got from the German Telecom, as well as a D-Link router, and despite on the manufacturer, or despite of the device, we always had issues. It wouldn't connect to the Wi-Fi, and actually also one of the reasons why we're going to return this phone. And besides that, just that you're stuck on Android 2.3.6. I mean, of course you can flash it and everything, but this is a phone for my girlfriend and she doesn't want to bother with this. She wants this to work, and so it's really a shame that this is still stuck on the OS, especially since they advertised that the update to 4.0.4 would already be available. But no luck right there. So it's a nice phone, it's not a bad phone, but honestly, for the price point, 240 bucks, there are better phones out there. For example, like the phone that I already showed you, the Desire X. So I really can't recommend the Xperia Sola to anybody. Take a look at the HTC. It may cost 20 or 30 bucks more, but it's a way better phone. The screen is better, the viewing angles are better. Just the Xperia Sola is a nice try. It's not a bad phone overall, but just too many things add up. Like how narrow the screen is, the just repeating issues with the Wi-Fi, that the update to ICS still isn't available. So it's just not good enough for the money that you're spending. I mean, 240 bucks is a lot of money, even though it's an unlocked phone, but still the 1 GHz dual-core processor does its best. It's not too bad when it comes to performance, but just that you're still stuck on Android gingerbread is just horrible, and overall the user experience isn't too great. So in my opinion, and this is my verdict for this phone, nice try by Sony, but don't purchase it. There are better phones out there like the HTC Desire X, and overall I really can't recommend it. The Wi-Fi issues might be something that's only related to this phone and might not be something that every Xperia Sola is experiencing, but I just can't recommend it. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to hit the like button above, or below actually, and please also make sure to subscribe for more future videos. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.